Welcome to week number 3 of Decoding Success, where we take the PGA Tour winner from the previous week and break down a part of their game that made them successful last week. So, the RBC Canadian Open, what an event this was, and what a cool day for Nick Taylor and the entire country of Canada. So, Nick Taylor, if you didn't watch it, went into a 4-hole playoff with Tommy Fleetwood and drained a 72-foot putt to bring home the title for a Canadian in the Canadian Open. Unbelievable. It was the first time in like 60 some years. It's really neat to watch how much fun it had to be there. And for Nick Taylor, I can't imagine how he's feeling this morning. Just got to be walking on cloud nine, heading into the US Open. Great win for him. Vaulted him into the top 10 in the FedEx Cup rankings. So I really want to break down his putting here and talk to you about something that I think is really important to understand when reading break and hitting putts. So on Sunday, his putting was unbelievable. He hit everything. He's got this claw grip, and that's really to stabilize the face and keep everything on a good line. And boy, did it work on Sunday. Pretty much everything that needed to go in down the stretch did. And then the 72-foot putt on the final playoff hole was just unbelievable. So I want to take a look here and talk to you about aiming and aim point and how that works within the swing. So if you look here, I have 2 circles drawn. So this circle on the left here is going to be what I call the apex, or what most people call the apex. So this is the point, like kind of the highest point where the putt starts to break. And this line on the right is actually going to be the start line. So if you look, the start line is much more to the right of the apex, and that's because this putt is breaking the entire time. So one thing that I think is important to know, and I'm going to draw another line on here right now, is if I were to start this on directly at the apex, it would actually break low. Now that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but if I am looking at apex putting, and this is going to break the entire way, you have to start it actually outside of the apex to get it to hit that spot and then to turn in. So I'm going to play this through in a second. I want you to see how it works. But the line that it actually starts on, if I were to draw a straight line, is actually out here to the right. Now, if this putt were straight most of the way and then were to turn at the end here, now that's the line I want to start it on. But this is kind of the nuance of green reading, is that you have to understand if the putt's breaking the whole way or if there's a point where it starts breaking more. Obviously, as it slows down, it's going to start catching more of the break. But this is a really interesting case study and look here. This final putt on the 18th hole of before the playoff shows you how the start line and the apex are really important to understand. So again, this one on the right here is the start line. This is the apex here, and this lower line is if he were to put it straight at the apex, it would have turned off and missed left. So I'm going to play this through, and you can see how the putt works inside of these aim points. So you can see that there. I'm going to take it back. So the putt starts out on that far right line. Let me take it back here. So it starts out off to the right, and it's actually starting to curve back now. So you can see it's directly between the 2 lines that I drew between the apex point and the start line point. Now it comes back, it's going to hit the apex and then start to drop. So as it loses speed, it's going to drop a lot more. So this is something that I think you guys at home can all take to your game, is when you're reading greens, it's important to see the apex and where it's going to start breaking the most. But it's also important to see the first part of the putt, if it's going to break during that part, even just a little bit, so that when it hits the apex, it actually rolls over the apex you're looking at. Because again, if he were to start that putt actually directly at the apex, it would have gone low and he would have missed it. But because he aimed out to the right there, so he aimed to that far right circle, and you can see this one is starting to break back, he kept it high enough to actually hit that apex point. And that's something I think a lot of people miss when people do the apex point putting. If you do that at home and they hit it right at the apex, it's going to turn and it's going to break low because you didn't read the first half of the putt. So it's important to read up to the apex, hit your apex, and then the putt will break down to the hole a little bit. Even the first half of the putt's going to be a little bit more subtle of a break because it's rolling faster, and then you can see as it slows down, it picks up a lot more speed. So I'm going to play this through and look as it slows down, look how much more break it hits. And that thing enters right here at, about 4 o'clock on the hole, which is pretty impressive. That means there was a lot of break on that putt. So congratulations to Nick Taylor. Amazing win. Watch how he putted in the last half of that round on Sunday. If you can go back and look at the highlights, look at how good his aim points were, how steady that club face was. He was rolling the putter incredibly. And the more we can learn from that, the better we'll all play golf at home. Go out there and have fun this week.